Hi. So, how did I first learn about ASL? Well, as a child, I was the only deaf kid in my family. My parents are both hearing. And they had no idea what to do with me. So, they sent me off to a school with a deaf program. They just hauled me off and stuck me there. That was a little bit awkward. There they taught C, Signed Exact English, and we would just practice that all day long. As I grew up, that's what I did. So I'd go home and I'd watch my dad and his buddies be all sitting around, and they'd be talking all over the place and laughing. And I'd be like, hey, what's so funny? Dad'd be like, well, oh, and he'd start gesturing away, trying to make sure that I could understand. I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's so funny, Dad. Oh. So I'd go back to school. I'd be like, hey, everybody, gather around. All right. And I'd pick out my words, try and remember what my dad had said, and I'd gesture and sign and gesture and sign. It was really awkward. And all the people would be like, yeah, okay, we get it. And I'd be like, hey, it's laughing. And at school I met like 2 other guys, so there's a group of 3 of us, and we were always together. And those 2, they were mischievous, troublesome kids. But one day something happened. I'm looking, I'm like, well, what is up with them? And they're like, well, why don't you let me know, why don't you tell us what happened? And we're like, okay. Well, these boys, let me tell you, they went to a big school, and it was strict there. It was like a jail. They ate the same food every day. So I was like really nervous about talking to these guys. I was like, I'm just be, really awesome, okay? I'm like, oh, hey, so, I really wanted to be one of the cool kids. I really want to see them. And the other kid's like, no. The other kid's like, no, you don't want to be friends with them. They are just bad kids. I'm like, really? I really want to. And finally, I went over there, and I started talking. I was so excited to talk with them. I'm like, okay. So we got together and decided we were going to talk about this play that I read. And I was like, okay, recently I went to see this show. It was so mechanical, and I'm having a good time of it, though. I'm like, and the car is broken into and stolen, and the 2 of them are just, it's going right over their heads. They really don't care. They're just confused, and I'm just going at it. I'm like, using my C, and I stop and I look, and they're both like, wow. Like, what is, something's not happening. Okay, whatever, like, like, fine, okay. So I go back home. Then my dad again is gesturing away and thinking about that. And now I'm thinking about how that story would be better with this ASL that the other kids did. Like, wow, I need to learn this. So I go back to school, I'm like, hey, story, okay, let's tell it. People are just like, wow, don't, 2 boys over there, bad kids, don't be loud about this, but, 2 of them went to, like, jail, right, every day, like, they had to stay there, and they're scary, I know, okay, but, like, they're almost like drug dealers, okay, but, we're gonna get this out in ASL here. And I was like, oh man, this is so cool. That just hit me that day. School was all focused on writing English sentences and, making sure everything's grammatically correct. The boy is riding the bicycle. And I'm all like, classifier 3, riding bicycle. And they're like, no, we need to pay attention right here. The boy is riding the bicycle. I'm like, I can see right then, like, it was just like a dam breaking. I had finally found out that ASL was 10 times easier. And that is how I came to know ASL. It was a mind-blowing experience. I'd go home and join my dad in the car. It's like, let's go, and we're just driving. He'd suddenly like look over at me, and I'd be like, that sea is awful. Wait, let me clarify that. It's something about how life is so much easier with ASL in the driver's seat.